my goodness, Autumn Joy, I love you so much, and I'm so happy that the time is here. This is the A-list. This is the premiere of our hot new show. Are you as excited as I am?
I am so excited, but how cool is it that since we both have A names, we can call it the A-list?
I love that. And our guest, who we'll bring up a little bit later, her name just happens to start with an A.
We have it all.
I love it. You know, there's a lot, we have to just cover a couple of topics, and then we're going to bring in our special guest, who I'm sure anyone who pays any attention to us, and I know you're all here, so you do pay attention to us. You already know we have Miss DC joining us in just a few minutes. I cannot wait to talk to her. She's so beautiful, so smart, just an amazing, talk about Black excellence, right? Yeah. And, but so many things have been happening here. Biden has been getting so much pushback by saying that he wants to nominate an African-American woman to the Supreme Court. I mean, but why would that garner pushback?
Yeah, well, you got to look at it from this perspective. It's everybody's okay with certain things until it's right in their face. What I mean by that is there's always been chatter about adding a Black woman, and it's always just been talk. But now that it can legitimately happen, now everybody has an opinion about it. When Amy Coney Barrett was being pushed in what, less than 4 weeks? Nobody said anything. It was progressive. Oh, bring her on. But as soon as a Black woman is they're trying to push in, now all of a sudden there's an issue. Now all of a sudden, they're trying to meet their quota. Oh, Black women only account for 6% of the population. It's like, why is it that whenever
lesser person because it's a Black woman? I mean, really?
Yeah. It's like, why does the finish line always have to be pushed back when it's our time to shine? I mean, you remember the pushback that Kamala received, and we were able, the Black women, shout out to the Divine Nine, they were the ones that were really able to push Kamala over that finish line. So I do think that President Biden, whatever he decides to do, he needs to act quickly because we're literally working with limited time. So,
and I love the fact that he put a deadline on it. He said, it's going to happen. Deal with the people. Get it all out now. It's going to happen. Hey, Isabella saying hello from Dubai. You know what? She didn't miss a beat. Here's our first night, and here she is, the first one to make a comment. Those of you who are watching, we want to thank you. Autumn Joy and myself, we were just all week, I'm like, is it Wednesday yet? Couldn't wait to get here with you. And we only know you're here if you comment. So, okay, what about this other thing? Just talking about just the unfairness. It has never stopped. Brian Morse, most Black people can kind of relate to what he's going through. And I love the fact that Flores, I love the fact that he's, doing something about it, and it's very risky to step forward and take a stand like he's taking. What are your thoughts on that?
So here's the thing, we know that the NFL, we know is deeply rooted. Clearly, look at how they handled the Colin Kaepernick situation. We already knew the NFL was racist, but that kind of let us know, they real racist.
Right.
With this situation, I am so happy that Brian is bringing this to the forefront on Black History Month, by the way. But you got to look at it you got to look at it like this. Bill Belichick sent this man a congratulations text message on Tuesday. He was like, wait, what are you congratulating me for? Oh, you got the job. And he's like, well, hold on. My interview isn't until Thursday. Come to find out, Bill was texting the wrong Brian. And so that let him know, and another little unknown fact that people don't know, the NFL is required to interview two minority people, if you will, for higher positions as like like an equal opportunity employer kind of a thing for the look. So that just lets you know that they only will interview the minorities because they have to, and they never intend on giving us the jobs. We're good enough to be on the field, but we're not good enough to hold positions of power. And so I'm really happy that he's imploding the NFL right now. And if you're following the story, you'll see that other people that are currently employed by the NFL are coming to his defense, because you know what they're doing? They're trying to assassinate his character and say that he's hard to work with and all of that. And that's what they do to us.
On it. Yeah, they're busted. And I love the fact that he's taking a stand, because when you do something like that, I mean, it's easy to say, okay, this happened. Let me just sit back and, try to get something else going on. It's risky because, just as you pointed out, Colin Kaepernick, he was blacklisted for a very long time. And, a lot of people came to his, I won't say his aid, but stood by him. But still, that doesn't mean you're going to ever get back into the NFL. So, I applaud him, and it's happened to so many Black people.
Yeah, yeah. And shout out to Roger. Yeah, Belichick's failure with technology opened the door for Flores to take the stand.
Exactly.
Amen. And it's like the NFL has how many teams? One Black man in position of power, one Black head coach, but the players account for 70% of the NFL. And I have friends who played in the NFL, and when this story came out, literally 4 of my friends that were former NFL players blew my phone up like, "Oh, you got to make sure you talk about this on your show." I said, "Don't worry, guys, I will." But they were they were giving me insight to how it felt, how uncomfortable it felt. They said they could literally feel the racism while they were at practice. They would crack jokes about, "Oh, here come Massa cracking the whips with the whistles." So again, like you said, Angela, I'm just happy that this is, he is blowing the lid off of this. And, unfortunately, he might have to be that sacrificial lamb, but this is going to be the beginning of the NFL really having to take a hard look at themselves and realize we're not tolerating this anymore.
Exactly. And you're right. And that's going to be his legacy. It's brave. It's, I commend him, and I stand by him as well. Thank you, everybody in the comments section. Delphinia, Roger, as you pointed out, Martine Moore Brown. She goes, "Hey," she gave her website and everything. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. So much has happened. There's a huge, the light is being shown on suicide in a way that it hasn't before, because right now it's a lot with young, accomplished people. And that was the kind of thing back in the day we'd say, well, Black people don't do that. That's not true. I mean, depression, knows no color. And, Regina King recently lost her son to suicide. Cheslie Kryst, as everyone just fell in love with, recently committed suicide. And so we have a special guest, and she knows about mental health. She's a psychologist. She's done so much. I mean, these women, yes, they're beautiful, but they are way beyond just the physical beauty. They're beautiful on the inside too. And I'd love for her to just come on and just give us some insight on the whole pageant industry as well. And Autumn, do you want to do the honors in bringing her on?
Oh, sure. I just do not want to mispronounce her name.
I'll do it. On the spot. Okay, we can say it together. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you can give us a drum roll. We're so happy that she's here. She's Miss DC. She's absolutely beautiful. Her name is Andolyn Medina. Welcome. Oh, she's gorgeous.
Thank you all for having me.
So happy that you're here.
Yeah, this is such a treat. I mean, and anytime that we can have somebody with your expertise join us on this platform, we truly do appreciate it. And given everything that, not just the pageantry world, but the world itself, I'm still in shock. I find myself, even today, when her mother spoke out, when her mom spoke out for the first time, I shed a few tears, because it felt like I knew her. She was so successful, so beautiful. And to your point early, Angela, when you look at people, you don't think, "Oh, she's got it all together. She looks good. She's got a head full of hair. I'm sure people love." Like, why? There's no way. And you just don't know what people are going through.
Yeah. And Andolyn, if you could just, first of all, I just am so happy that you're here too. And, the whole pageant world, that's something in itself.
Right.
You can just shed some light on just that whole industry. And, you've got to look a certain way. You've got to be perfect. And, just the whole mental health issue?
Yeah, it's been heartbreaking because even though I don't know Cheslie, I know people that do. And, like you all said, she had such a bright personality that it felt like she was a friend. It felt like she was a sister. And I even saw myself in her. She was somebody that I looked up to and just truly aspired to in so many ways. And so, I think when you really talk about pageants, a lot of people don't realize sort of the darker side of things. And so, in addition to having to be sort of public facing and always on for you all as people that sort of come in contact with us, behind the scenes, there are a lot of, anonymous forums in which people that consider themselves fans of us contestants talk about us and bash us and they stalk us. Little
on social media or
social
what?
media. So there's pages on Facebook. There's also anonymous forums just on the World Wide Web, where fans of organizations of the pageants will critique us and they'll stalk us. I'm 26 now, but a story I would say is when I was 21, I was a legal drinking age. I would go to wineries. Sometimes I would take photos with friends with wine, but I would have people that would stalk my page and would then go on these anonymous sites and state, well, we don't think she should be a representative because she drinks wine. And so therefore our little girls shouldn't look up to her. So that's obviously just, a minimal thing. I was never Miss USA. I never was Cheslie Kryst, but you can only imagine the sort of things, the sort of hate that she was getting, things that I personally saw. And I saw Cheslie respond to these haters that would constantly attack her. I saw her, try to continue to be resilient. And the perspective, that's so interesting is that I thought this woman was an icon, and yet these people were doing anything they could to tear her down. And the other thing I will add to that is being Black in the pageant industry, what we face, because we know that we are facing white Eurocentric standards of beauty. And so you're constantly also dealing with people telling you things about, you're not beautiful enough, your shape or your figure isn't this enough, isn't that enough. And so things that you can't even change about yourself are critiqued in such a way that it's almost difficult to put into words.
You said that there are these forums, and I guess it's, probably very common in the pageant industry. Do they have anything in place to kind of, buffer that? Like, are there any outreach programs within the pageant world or something to create some kind of balance and help for the girls?
Well, I think that's what adds to this mental health concern, is because sadly as girls, we're gaslit into the fact that we know that these forums exist. And yet when we talk about them or bring them up or talk about how they're impacting us, we're simply told to not look at them, as if that's somehow going to solve the solution, which is the amount of bullying and harassment in which we're facing. And so, unfortunately, it's difficult because the day and age that we live in with technology and with things being anonymous, I think it's difficult to track who these people are, but it adds to the depression, the anxiety, the paranoia we feel as pageant girls, because that these people are people that you interact with day in and day out. And that they see you and they smile in your face, and yet you have no idea who they really are. And so it makes, you can imagine years of competing, the effect that would have on your mental health.
Yeah. So what about like within the pageant world? Like, I know that it can get catty.
Yeah.
I know that everybody that's like, smiles in your face clearly is not your friend. Mm-hmm. So what can you tell us about the inner workings? Like, what goes on behind the scenes? Like, how catty are the girls really that nice to each other?
That's the thing. So I'm fresh off of competing at Miss America, and I was really fortunate enough to place in the top 10. And I have to tell you, I have to tell you, the absolute best part of it was the girls. The most redeeming, resilient part of it all, because we're the only 51 girls that have gone through what we went through. And so they are perhaps the greatest support that you can have throughout all of this, because like I said, they're the only ones that know. So I can text them, and be like, this crazy thing is happening to me. And I'm pretty sure somebody else is experiencing the same thing and can relate. So they're definitely part of what makes, the pageant feel sort of redemptive in that way. It's the part to look forward to, is truly the connections you have with others.
Good. It's really good to know that, that the girls are at least, being girlfriends. I am so happy that you were able to join us tonight because, as I said when I was talking about you earlier, you're not only a beautiful face, but you have a beautiful heart. And I say that because I know that you believe in these causes and are actively doing things against human trafficking and violence against girls and the psychology of it all. That being said, what do you say to young girls who, are on social media every day? And I mean, Autumn, I'm sure you have, experienced the trolls. I know I have for no reason. And, you block them and then they come back disguised as somebody else. And then the trolling starts. As an adult, I can process it and just delete the people and keep it moving. But when you're young, like you are, and younger, what do you tell the young girls to, help them?
Yeah, well, I think, if there's two messages I could get out, it would be that mental health is a spectrum. So I think even when we're talking about Cheslie, a lot of people were surprised because we think depression has one look or one face, instead of the fact that it can look like a multitude of things. And so to the young girls out there that are facing different things, I would just say don't suffer in silence. I think that's the biggest mistake that we can make, is feeling like nobody understands or nobody will get us. But there's such a huge relief when you can just let it out. And so truly just finding a friend, a mentor, somebody that you can just reach to in those moments. And also to parents, to family members, to teachers, anybody else out there in a supporting role. One of the things that I've started doing is really asking friends and family members every day how I can support them, because the support we need all looks different and is all different on an individual level. So by asking something as simple as that, you can also create the space for that person to really tell you, here's what I need to be able to open up and create a conversation.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. And really quickly to your point, Angela, I did a reality show years ago, and the show that I did, at the time, I want to say like MySpace was like popping, and that's before your time, girl.
No, I was looking for MySpace.
You were on MySpace, girl. But yeah, MySpace was like the platform, and this was when like forums were kind of popping, and so I remember once they announced the cast of girls, like all of these people, it was like so many other girls that were cast, but for whatever reason, everybody had an opinion about me. And so I'm going through these opinions. I'm talking about paragraphs. And I'm like, who are these people? I've never even been to Japan. What are they talking about? And so it's infuriating because you're reading this stuff. They're typing it like it's a matter of fact, like they know you. And you're like, oh my God, guys, don't believe this. But it's too late. The damage has already been done. Thank God, that I was older, so I was able to deal with it. I still get trolls to this day. People that listen to my show, Autumn Joy, and it's always fake pages or whatever. But I say all that to say, it's this generation, because social media is something that they have literally grown up with. I think we're able to separate it because we literally had to move away from it. Whereas now social media is literally embedded in every part of their life. They're showing the likes are what motivate people. The comments are what motivate people. If I don't get enough likes on this picture, I'm going to have an attitude and be mad for the rest of the day. Maybe I should have poked my butt out a little bit more so I could there's so much that goes into it. And if you can't separate social media from real life, that is what can take the biggest toll. And that is what truly can affect your mental health when you're relying on opinions from strangers to fuel your personality, to fuel how you feel. And so, I really, my heart goes out to Cheslie and her, her family, her mother. Oh my goodness, her mother was her best friend. You can tell they just had an amazing relationship. You can tell that her mom loved her daughter, poured into her daughter. And I just, as a mother, I can't even begin to imagine the pain that she's feeling, the conversations that she's running back in her head. What could I have said different? Maybe there were signs I didn't notice. And based off of what her social media and even everything else, it just doesn't seem like there were too many signs that were there. And so it's important for you to check on your strong friends. You know, the friends that you think are always happy and excited. Check on your strong friends, because sometimes, you know, some of Cheslie's friends, they maybe looked at her like, oh, she's so successful, she's got it together, there's no way. And now it's like, you know what, dang, I probably should have checked on my friend. So
yeah, and Andolyn, to your point earlier, don't suffer in silence, you know. But when you're going through depression, you know, you don't have that figured out. And when you're extremely young, being accepted and being liked, even in real life, in person, is so important. And Autumn, to your point, social media is everything. And so there has to be some kind of a balance. To the parents who are watching, if you've got especially young daughters, just help create the balance, not so much social media, you know, to encourage them to get off of the gram sometimes and, you know, do something with their friends in real time. I just so appreciate, Andolyn, you taking this time and just shedding some insight, especially on the pageant world and with what you do. Really appreciate it. And hopefully we'll have you back again.
I would love that. Thank you all for having me. I hope you have a great night.
Oh, give your social media.
Oh, yes. So you all can give me a follow at Miss America DC and at my personal Instagram at Andolyn Medina, and it's spelled just as it is on the screen.
Yay, so proud. Really proud of you. Congratulations on everything. Hopefully we'll see you soon. Thank you so much.
Hi, Andolyn.
Well, Autumn, we did it. We've got one under our belt.
Yes, this A-list is done, girl. I was so nervous because I didn't really know what to expect. I'm like, okay, like,
listen, the professional that you are, you brought it. You're like, what else you got? What else you got? I got it. Yeah. No need for the words.
I just want to say, Angela, I am so honored to share this screen with you, and anybody that is within earshot that listens to me talk about you, they know how much I love you, how much I respect you, how much you're my favorite voice, my favorite face on radio, television. And so I'm so excited to launch this A-list series with you. I really can't think of anybody else that I would rather be here with. And so I just wanted to give you your flowers.
Thank you. Well, you know what? While we're giving up flowers, let me give you yours. I am also honored. I just love you so much, Autumn. Your personality, I listen to you every day. And it's no secret why you're number one. You make everybody feel like they're absolutely your best friend. And I'm honored to actually be one of your real friends.
You are.
Okay. And you are my girl. I love this. And those of you who have taken the time to hang out with us this evening, it's so important to us because it's our premiere show. So you're a part of it, very much a part. Please tell your friends, your family to join us every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. right here, and we'll do it all over. If there are any topics that you want us to discuss, just let us know. You know, the comments are all yours and we will shout you out. All right? That sounds good?
Yes, let's do it. You can email us. You can send us DMs I get messages from my live squad all the time about topics, things that we should talk about. So I'll be sure to incorporate that. Yeah, during my show when I talk about the A-list, how we can get the live squad involved. And
yes, we need the live and all my pillow talkers. Don't not being left out. We can talk about some spicy things on the A-list as well. Why not? Up on our social media, Autumn, give them yours. Oh, wait, listen, happy belated birthday too, by the way.
Thank you.
Like you had an amazing time on your vacation. Not that I shock you, I do.
It was so relaxing. It was, it was exactly what I needed. And for those of you all that don't know, I turned 40, and so I was like, I got to do something milestone-ish. I'd never been to Colorado, so I've always wanted to go. So I've been skiing like some Massanutten, stuff that's like 2 hours away, but like I really wanted to experience Colorado. And me and my girls, we definitely did that. It was so much fun. We just had an amazing time. And then from there, I was like, okay, I like to be warm on my actual birthday. So then we flew over to St. Martin, another place that I'd never been before. And so it was just one of the most relaxing, one of the most memorable, and just really one of the most needed birthdays that I've had in a very long time. So, and then the party this Friday at Air. Yay!
There you go. And your social media.
Oh yes, my social media. You guys can follow me at Autumn Joy with an I live.
Okay, I have one shout out. Join me here tomorrow night, 9:00, with one of my favorite people on the planet, the Prince of Sophisticated Soul, Will Downing, because he's going to be performing this weekend at the Birchmere. So we'll talk a little bit about that, but a lot about Will. So I know you don't want to miss that. And of course, Valentine's Day is coming up. So Will Downing is one of the sexiest people out there. That voice. So make sure you join us. That's right here tomorrow night, 9:00. And hit me up on my social media. That's at Angela Stribling on all social. It's just always the same. And at WHUR-FM. And this has been such a joy. Thank you, Autumn.
Oh, no pun intended. It's been such a joy with an I.
Joy with an I. I see what you did there.
Oh, thank you, Angela. Love you, girl. See you next week.
See you next week. Bye.
Bye.